Episode 152. Today we recap the Cardinals series and preview the upcoming series against the Braves. You're listening to the Bucko Banter podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' 101, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Order steak by the plate, send in case after case. Run my race at my pace, clear the grass.
Welcome back to another episode of Bucko Banner, man. I don't even know why I'm smiling right now because there's nothing to smile about at all. But we're going to have a fun time today regardless.
If you don't laugh, it hurts.
It hurts when I laugh. It hurts whatever I do. I don't know what to do.
Before we get into it, go over to tseshop.com for all your Pittsburgh sports memorabilia needs. Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, and more. Go get your Pirates memorabilia, whether it be a helmet, a bat, a ball, a photo, and much, much more. Go to tseshop.com. Go to the description in Apple or Spotify and YouTube. Click that to let them know Bucko Banter sent you. Another sweep. They've been shut out 7 times this year. That's the most in Major League Baseball. They lead Major League Baseball in hitting its double plays. They have only scored more than 5 runs twice the entire season. And they just got swept 2 series in a row. Is this the last week for Derek Shelton?
I think if I was a betting man that Derek Shelton has probably managed his last game. And all things come to an end eventually, unfortunately. But, you know, I want to say this. How do I want to put this? Is Derek Shelton 100% at fault? Absolutely not. Okay? And I'm not up here like defending Derek Shelton. But if you think that firing Derek Shelton cures the problems of this team or was the main issue, I think you're terribly misguided. I think Shelton was dealt a really bad hand for
6 years.
6 years, and we've said that over and over again. Now, with that said, was he the right man for the job? I don't know. I don't. It's hard to say. I've never seen him manage a playoff worthy roster. But is it time to change directions? Probably, but that's not just with the manager spot, man. I think it's time to do a lot of changes. I think it's time to change the roster a little bit. I think it's time to. You're not going to change the front office midseason, but like I think a lot of changes need to be had. What's going on right now isn't working. So
it's the organization's fault for giving him 6 years to begin with, right? I don't think anyone, and maybe the history of Major League Baseball, has been given this long of a leash and that much losing and told to keep going. Like, hey, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep throwing you out there with the same shit every single year. And I think Shelton would tell you himself, you have to manage with the cards that you're dealt. But every single card dealt has been terrible.
Yeah.
And now it's amplified because you have generational talents and he's still been dealt the same hand other than Paul Skeens, right? So now it's, what are the Pirates doing? It's not just internally, just in Pittsburgh, it's throughout all of baseball. What are the Pirates doing? This is amplified 10 times because of how bad it is. We have an off day tomorrow when this comes out. I think they do it then. I was a little hesitant before because we thought Bubba would be debuting on Sunday. So I didn't think they'd want more of a media circus than that would already be. Firing the manager, then you have your top prospect coming up. We know Bubba's not going to be debuting this weekend. He's pitching right now, or he pitched today. Maybe his worst outing of AAA.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pirates got swept. It makes too much sense just to say, hey, we're going to move forward with Don Kelly. Not much is going to change. But we have to draw the line somewhere. You talk about accountability. This is accountability. It cannot keep going where you're 12 wins on May 7th.
Yeah, it's pretty low, man. I definitely had lower expectations than I think most for this team going into the season, but like this is way, way lower. They started last year with basically the same roster. They started the month of April without Paul Skeens at like what 20-8,
Right.
something stupid like that. And that's something I was always be cautious of. They start off hot like they always do. It might come down to reality, but they didn't start off hot. It just started with reality, and it's been tough watch, man. And I think the 2 straight sweeps, losing 12 of the last 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
That just kind of put the writing in the sand, if you will, for Shelton, unfortunately. And it's going to start with him. And who knows? I hope it's not. If it does happen, it hasn't yet as we're recording. But if it does, I hope more moves happen. Like, why stop there? The product on the field is not working. Like, let's give some opportunities to some other guys. It's never who says you can't make a trade in May. You don't need to wait till July. July, you're going to be way too out of it to begin with. Like, you could buy and sell right now. Like, make some moves that are necessary for this team. There are certain guys on this roster that probably aren't going to be on this roster when they're contending, hopefully.
We saw the Marlins do that with Luis Ariz
Yes.
early in the year. Make a move when you can. Sell on a guy right now. It worries me because we're almost 100% certain Ben Cherington won't be around for next year.
Are we?
I'm I think after last year going into this year, this was it. I don't think he's going to be around. I just don't, with everything going on, with how this season has started. Last year, you make the argument, hey, they added Paul Skeens. They finished with the same record. They have Bubba coming up. There is an argument to be made that they can build off of that. They didn't, right? And he has a full year. They didn't do that. I think they're going to let go of him. But you've mentioned it many times on this podcast, and I agree with you. They're not going to cut ties with a GM halfway through the year. You have the draft coming up in the midsummer.
I mean, you're basically, if you do that, you're throwing away all the work you've done. And the draft work starts the year before.
Right. You have a top 10 pick. I just don't see where this team improves this year because everything's going to be same all the way up until October. Until the season ends and everyone's let go. I don't see anything changing with how they operate. I think they're going to set us back even further. I would almost rather just go out of the norm and let go of everybody and find somebody that you think is young that's going to be in the organization, someone that you could put there in the interim, say, hey, we're going to hold on to you. You're not going to get this GM job. You're not going to be the manager of this ball club, but we're putting our trust in you for this draft or the development for the rest of the year because it quite literally cannot get any worse.
Yeah.
And I think there's more. If you get rid of Ben, it doesn't mean anything's going to change as well, right? Because all the guys around Ben are really the ones making the decisions as a group, right? So you're not going to drop every single person, but maybe just drop him. I think at this point, you just need to show the fans that you can move on, that you cannot keep dragging this project out for that much longer.
Yeah, it hasn't worked. And I think what baffles me the most, not the pile on Ben, but, you'd think year 5, like that offseason would be, and we said it many times, many times, it's the most important offseason for the Pirates. Like this offseason is going to be big. Like it has to be. And they did nothing. Like that just shows, that's why I don't know if he's gone, because it's just like, was there no sense of urgency? Like, is he comfortable in his job? Like what, how did you not do anything? Like, you can't just look at, and I'm hopeful for Spencer Horwitz, but like, you can't look at Spencer Horwitz and be like, that's going to be the move that turns his team around. Like you non-tendered BDLC and then you got worse in the outfield. And I don't know, like you have heard rumors that he's really hard to deal with in trades, and I just can't believe nothing else was like There was no backup plans. There's no plan Bs, plan Cs. Like, seriously? It's hard to believe.
You have to be comfortable saying no.
Not that comfortable.
I truly don't understand it, because you went into the season pitching being a strong suit, could potentially have one of the best rotations in the league, and you added to this team with Tommy Pham, Adam Frazier, and who else? I mean, like, really, like, who else?
I mean, there isn't. Like,
There isn't anyone. You made the team worse by adding guys that don't fit to this roster. You've said it a billion times. The pieces of the puzzle do not fit. By adding these guys, you set us back even further, because it's a logistical nightmare. You brought back Andrew McCutchen. I'm not going to talk anything bad about Andrew McCutchen, because he's been one of our best hitters, all things considered. This is not his fault. You gave him $5 million. He's come in and he's done what you've asked him to do. Probably more, because he's probably played the field more than he's wanted to play. Okay? But you've already seen how that messes everything up with the roster when one guy can go down like Brian Reynolds for a week. And then it's just moving pieces everywhere. And it just doesn't work no matter what way you put it together. 1 through 9, it makes no sense. It never will make sense with this team. And then when you get a guy with a breakout like O'Neal Cruz, guess what? You don't have to pitch to him. We've already seen that begin to happen where he's in the leadoff spot. I love how aggressive he is. He's continued to shine. I think his at-bats have been the most professional we've ever seen in his career, even lefty on lefty. And he has 15 stolen bags right now. You cannot ask much more offensively from O'Neal Cruz, but there's no reason to pitch to him because of the way, because of this way the roster is constructed and how Brian Reynolds has began the season. There is simply no reason to pitch to O'Neal Cruz. So the one hope that you probably had in driving in multiple runs at a time or getting a guy in scoring position, he's pretty much taken out of the equation if a smart team is playing.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to me that a room of people looked at this roster and said, like, yep, this is what we're going to go into the season with, and think that it would be any different or better at all than the previous years. I mean, it's mind blowing. I don't know. I could sit here and tell you how mind blown I am for hours, but like, it truly was one of the most mysterious off seasons in the last 3 years I've seen from a baseball fan.
Yeah, I mean, I sympathize with everybody out there that says, hey, this is the most disinterested I've been in Pirates baseball in 20 years. Because, I mean, yeah, we're used to it. We're built different as Pirates fans. We're never going to stop rooting for the Pirates. But when you're gaslit over and over and over again, and then talent falls into your lap and you're told we're in a rebuild and things are getting better, that we are better, and we're going to continue to improve, and that we're going to hold each other accountable, and this is the most important offseason for this team, and then the same thing happens over and over again, I think everybody just hit the panic button, rightfully so. Like, it's go time, and you didn't go. And now it's a complete dumpster fire. I'm not trying to talk bad about like any player or, you know, the who we have on this roster, because that's not up to them. You, as a front office, you made this happen. There's guys on this team that could most likely succeed and help other teams elsewhere, but how it's constructed right now, it will never be a winning baseball team.
Not even a 500 baseball team, 500 level baseball team. Like, it's not even close, which is sad. It's sad. I think this city deserves more, and I think the fans deserve more. And I don't know, man. You got a beautiful ballpark. You've got a generational arm. You have the ingredients and the foundation for this to be a baseball mecca, and a small market baseball mecca. And you're just not capitalizing in the slightest.
100%, man. 100%. We've been the Pirates Fest the past 2 years in a row, and they've done those fan forums asking Ben and Travis and Shelty all of the questions that you want. I mean, sometimes it gets out of hand, but the main question that was asked and repeated 2 years in a row is, why haven't we signed anybody to multi-year free agent deals? And every single time it was, hey, we're trying. I
Try harder.
refuse to believe that it's because they're not giving people what they want. I think it's a product of they just don't have a plan in place for these people to come in, for these players to come in. So nobody in their right mind would want to sign here for multiple years, knowing that there's no plan in place, that everything's just going to stay status quo.
Yeah, you got to attract people. You got to want people to like have an urge and a want to play here. Like no one's just gonna come here because one guy like Paul Skeens isn't gonna just make someone like, yeah, it's attractive, but like, and the ballpark's attractive, but like, what else you got? Am I gonna win?
Right. I mean, you see teams like the White Sox, like they're going to have a hard time attracting somebody there for a while. And you've seen them start the rebuild, right?
Yeah.
Bringing in top prospects, trying to like start over, right? And I think they're actually going about it the right way. And then eventually you could attract people to the city of Chicago. But the Pirates haven't done that in order to say, hey, okay, now that we have this plan in place, or even when they did have it in place, to build off of that and make that a selling point.
Yeah.
It just hasn't happened.
I'm
And
getting. If we didn't have, sorry to cut you off, but if we didn't have Paul Skeens on this roster, I would be calling for just a complete teardown again. Because what have you, I feel like over the last 6 years, you haven't made any substantial trade, acquired any, high ceiling prospects. You haven't taken advantage of the assets that you have and moved them. Like the White Sox moved Garrett Crochet. He's a young arm, and they got a haul from the Red Sox. Like 4 prospects that are more high ceiling than any prospect that we've acquired in quite some time. I don't think any from this regime. So it's like, where do we even start? Like they try to build this team off of 1-year veteran deals and flipping them for low level prospects and in drafting. Like it's just like you're banking on that first overall pick to be something. And it's been a domino effect, man. We're seeing it right now in the 6th year.
yeah, I think what concerns me the most right now is just how disinterested everybody looks at the moment. You look at the Marlins, for example. The Marlins are 2 games worse than the Pirates right now. They're 10-21, but they have energy. Like they have guys that seem like they want to play together. And I think what Bendix did go this past year and going into the offseason is eventually going to work for them. But you see like a little bit of spark and guys wanting to be out there. It just doesn't look like anybody wants to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. Rightfully so. Losing sucks, especially at the highest level. Don't let anyone fool you, okay? Guys want to win. And when you're not winning, everything sucks. And it sucks all around right now. And it doesn't seem like there's any light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Thanks for coming to the therapy session with us.
Well, shall we get into the game recaps?
Yeah, real quick before we do, Dari Moreta and Spencer Horwitz were assigned to AAA Indianapolis to continue their rehab assignments. So would be nice to see Moreta added back to the bullpen at some point, get Horwitz mixed into the lineup here. I'm assuming they're going to be there for just a little bit, get some more at-bats at a higher level, see some more pitches for Horwitz, but that's what's going on in the headlines. Not much else, as we mentioned earlier. Bubba got the start today, Wednesday, so he likely, all things considered, will not be debuting this week as we thought. Let's get into the games. Scott, you want to get us kicked off with Monday?
Sure. Let's do Monday. Carmen Mlodzinski got the start. The first game in St. Louis, they lost 6-3. He went 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks. Those 2 earned runs were home runs. Jose Barrero and Alec Burleson. The pitch to Alec Burleson was one of the worst pitches I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. So 6.16 ERA, 8 whiffs. You have to think like this has got to be one of his last starts. Like it's just not, the experiment's over, fellas. I think he's going to get more whiffs, and that stuff's going to play up in 1 inning stints. I said that over and over again. You have to, let's actually use him to his strengths. Why don't we? Ryan Barucki came in 2/3 of an inning, no hits, 1 walk. His ERA is on a 3.29. Chase Shugart had his worst appearance of the year. He blew a save. Didn't even get an out. 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk. Gave up a Wilson Contreras homer. And then Caleb Ferguson is a Ferguson special, as I call it. Just 2/3 of an inning. No hits, no walks, no Ks. Just getting pitching to contact, getting outs. Joey Wentz went 2 innings, 2 hits, no earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. One of the lone runs of the game for the Pirates, Reynolds. The first inning 2-run homer was absolutely crushed, as they do when they score. It's usually all at once at the beginning of the game. 1 for 5, a home run, his 5th on the year, 2 RBIs. He's got a 231 average. Manuel Valdez went 2 for 4 with a double, and then Cruz and Frazier each went 2 for 4 as well. 7 hits total, 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, 8 left on base, and 5 Ks.
Cruz had a nice throw from the outfield, 100 miles per hour. He was safe, but they called him out.
What the umpire called him out? He was out.
Yeah, he's out. Tuesday versus the Cardinals, Skeens Day. They lost 2-1. For the most part, Skeens looked great. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 4 walks, 6 Ks. The walks have been up a little bit lately. The control hasn't been as spot on as it usually is, but this is a game you need to win. There was 1 hit through, I think, 5 or 6 in the first hit. It was in the first inning, perfectly placed ground ball up the middle. And then the second hit was a ground ball through third base and shortstop. And then 2 runs in the last inning. That's it. Just 2. Brian Hayes drove in 1. That's pretty much all the offense they had. Santana and Bednar in the back end. Santana 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 K. Bednar 1 inning, 1 Ks. Look good as of late. As a team, 9 Ks, 3 walks, 4 hits, 1 for 4 runners in scoring position, 6 left on base. Cruz took his 15th bag of the year. Another day that they wasted a Skeens start. I don't even think at this point we can look at these days as a better opportunity to win. It's almost just the same as every other day because the pitching for the most part has been good, better than good, enough to win for any Major League Baseball team. And they just can't hit. So can't hit, doesn't matter who you have out there.
Yep, agreed. Wednesday, same story. Shutout, 5-0. Mitch Keller, quality start. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks. He had 10 whiffs, 4.40 ERA. Hey, that should be enough to win. All right, I know it's 7 hits, but only 3 earned runs. He had 6 Ks, pitched well. Barucki, 1 inning, 1 hit, 3.07 ERA. Ferguson, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks. And then Holderman went a third of an inning, 1 hit, and 1 K. 4 hits total for the Pirates, all singles, no extra base hits. Cruz, Hayes, Kutch, and Pham. 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position, 6 left on base, 10 Ks. Really not much to say about this game.
No.
Just got beat.
Got beat. Got swept.
Got swept again.
Against an NL Central opponent. There's not much else to put into this, man.
Yeah, let's just move on. Let's take a break real quick, Adam. Not much else to say. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and we're going to preview the Brave series.
Scott, we are back at PNC Park this weekend hosting the Atlanta Braves, who currently sit at 17-18, third in the NL East. The Braves always put together a solid baseball team. It's going to be a battle all weekend. It's not going to get easier. And on Friday, we have right-handed pitcher Bryce Elder potentially against Bailey Falter. Bryce Elder this year 2-1 with a 5.06 ERA and 32 innings pitched, 6 games, 22 Ks with a 1.38 WHIP. Arsenal got a slider at 38% of the time, sits around 84 to 85. The sinker 37% of the time, around 91 to 92, and then a 4-seam and a changeup to finish out the Arsenal. 4-pitch mix, strong command, repeatable delivery, generates a ton of ground balls with the sinker slider combo. Fastball is in the low 90s with sink effective due to the deceptive delivery. And then the slider sitting around mid 80s with strong horizontal movement, considered his best pitch. He lacks elite velocity, but the command can waver against advanced hitters, but overall going to be a tough battle against Bryce Elder.
It brings us to Saturday, Adam. We got AJ Smith-Shawver, who has had a potential no-hitter going the other day, I think, in his last start. But he'll be going up against Andrew Heaney, I believe. That's what the schedule would predict. In 2025 so far, 2-2 with a 3 ERA and 27 innings pitched, 5 games started, 27 Ks and a 137 whip. Another guy with a 4-pitch mix. He has a 4-seam and a split. The 4-seam will sit in the mid-90s, can reach up to the upper 90s, sometimes touch 100. The split, he'll throw 34% of the time. He throws it low to mid-80s. And then he'll throw a curve 16% of the time at 77.3 miles an hour on average. And the slider, less than 10% of the time, mid to high 80s. He's an athletic righty, high-velocity fastball, like I just mentioned, and a developing 4-pitch mix. Inconsistent command, though. That's been his bugaboo, especially with his secondary pitches. His fastball averages 95, touching 100, exhibits riding life, making it effective up in the zone. But the splitter is his main out pitch, is developing still with fading action. He's throwing it more this year. The percentage of times that he's thrown it has gone up, shown a lot of potential. But, man, this is a guy that if the secondaries aren't working and they're inconsistent, he's a guy you got to just sit fastball and you can attack him there.
Sunday, 2024 NL Cy Young winner, left-handed pitcher Chris Sale gets the ball this year 1-3 with a 4.07 ERA and 42 innings pitched, 8 games, 56 Ks with a 1.36 whip. The arsenal is a slider, a 4-seam, change, and sinker. The veteran southpaw has an exceptional slider, high strikeout capability, and adaptability in pitch selection, declining fastball velocity and effectiveness, necessitating reliance on the secondary pitches. The slider right now is his primary pitch, accounting for nearly 50% of his offerings in 2025, a career high. This pitch has been particularly effective with an expected weighted on base average ex-WOBA against it of 185, his best since 2018. Every pitcher is going to be a battle for the Pirates, but anytime you're going against Chris Sale, it's going to be
his slider is as effective as 2018. Isn't that his World Series year with the Red Sox?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Good times. All righty. Well,
yeah, before we go, make sure you get all of your sports card hobby needs from Sports Card Junction. Basketball, baseball, football, hockey, Pokemon, whatever you collect, you can find at Sports Card Junction, 9011 Perry Highway, Pittsburgh, PA. You could also go to sportscardjunction.com. Go into the store, buy something, open it up, talk sports. It's the best sports card place in Pittsburgh. Again, that's Sports Card Junction, 9011 Perry Highway.
Well, it was a quick one today, Adam. We got a lot to talk about over the weekend, I'm sure. We've got an interview coming on Monday, which will be another good one. That's my favorite episode now of the week, that prospect episode. But, yeah, let's enjoy the off day. Don't think about Pirates baseball too much, but get ready for Friday. Come to PNC Park, and let's win some baseball games.
And, again, for the first time this week, raise it.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates. And